I'm Ryan Benson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
I'm Dylan Bowden.
We are the pop culturists, and I have an ethical question for you guys.
Ooh.
Bit of backstory on where this came from. Okay.
Ooh.
So Final Fantasy 15 came out last year. Late last year.
Is the ethical, like, should Final Fantasy still exist? 'Cause the answer is...
The answer is no.
Well,
That's it.
it's the final.
Thank you. I'm Josh Saunders. So it came out, and as people progressed through the game, more and more stories came out about product placement in the game. And I'm not just talking about like advertising, like, you know, you got your racing games and there's billboards with actual products on there and stuff. Like, this advertisement is like, look at this product, it's in your face, and even building a quest around a product.
What's the product?
Right? So there's actually a few. So one of them is, so the story's about 4 guys on a camping trip, no homo. And you've got the option to camp. You've
lost me. I don't care anymore.
It's like, wait. I mean, there's 4 dudes in a van and they don't get it on?
They're camping, right?
They're camping. There's tents. They pitch a tent together. Anyway, all the camping equipment from the tent to the chairs to the stove is Coleman, which is a very, very popular outdoor equipment specialist in Japan.
Okay.
Right? And it's not just a matter of that's these products. Like, you know, in any shot at the camp, in any of the cutscenes, Coleman, like it's on the screen. Yeah, okay. I can forgive that. That's okay. You know, that's okay. It's camping gear. It's good camping gear. And then I enter a shop, and what do I see on the window? A sticker, American Express. And I was like, that's just taking me straight out of the fucking game. That's not cool. But then the one that did it in for me is one of your companions has a gladiolus, has a very big love for...
It sounds like a cancerous growth.
I've got a gladiolus on my
I
testicles.
have a real problem with gladiolus.
He's a big fan of Cup Noodles.
I called gladiolus from the camping trip. Sorry. Noodles, can't...
Big fan of Cup Noodles, ramen noodles, yeah?
Course, yeah.
And the biggest supplier of them in Japan is Nissan.
Okay.
N-I-S-S-I-N, not like Nissan like
I
car.
was going to say.
Yeah, it's all the car leftovers.
You know, and you're driving through the game and there's billboards and you see them on the shelf in shops and stuff. That's cool, yeah.
Right.
But then I'm walking through a town and Gladiola starts losing. She's like, holy shit, oh my god. And there's a truck for Nissan noodles there. And so you go over there and engage the cutscene. And he's like, these are my favourite noodles. Oh, I love these noodles so much. And you get the noodles and it's like, oh, it's missing ingredients. So you get a side quest to go out into the wild to get the perfect ingredients to cook you the perfect Nissan noodles.
Sounds like a commercial.
That's actually
No,
fucking awesome.
and that's the whole thing, yeah, is you do that and you cook it, and when you camp at night, you can cook a meal to give you a stat boost for the next day. So you cook these noodles, eat them, you don't get a great stat boost, but in the morning, the English actors recorded two voice sets, like series, talking about how good the meal was last night, and kind of sarcastic product placement, like infomercial about the noodle. And that's the one they went with in the game, is the sarcastic one. And it's funny and it's cool, but the question to me is, like, I don't know if I'm okay with this or not. Because these are all real products. You know, like for me anyway, you play a fantasy game to escape the real world. You know? And we're seeing slowly peppered into games is actual products. And that kind of just for that split second takes you out of it. And then we're seeing it later in the game even more. It's like we're designing quests around this particular real product. And then there's photos on Square Enix's Twitter of Nissan delivering boxes of all the noodles to the developers and stuff. Like, so there's obviously a cross sponsorship and all that kind of stuff going on. And that's okay, and I'm okay with the billboards and in the background stuff, but when it's brought front and centre, I just want to get your opinions on it, because I don't know if I'm okay with it or not. Is it an ethical thing? Because, we'll give you all this money if you put our product in your game and make it front and centre, and actually spend time developing stuff around our product.
I think it's...
and not just assets, but dialogue, quests. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, not just like billboards.
It's a tough situation, because with movies and TVs, we had it for years, literal years.
Yeah.
And there are like times where, I'm going to use this as an example. So it's like, hey, look, they've got a Coke, and they go, and it's perfectly like labelled.
Yeah, the label's facing the
front and centre.
Yeah.
All it comes down to is that like that company is willing to pay money to that movie to be in there.
Yeah.
Now, with a game like Final Fantasy, which took 10 plus years to make, I doubt all that time Square's like, we're going to give you all the money you need. Are they going to it's just, I think it's sort of subsidise the cost of what this massive game is.
Yeah.
In terms of billboards and stuff throughout, I don't see it too much of a problem. I think a quest that's structured solely around that product placement, I'm not like oh, what? I'm not going to stop playing the game.
No, not at all.
I guess from like my business brain's it makes sense, but that's a little bit too much into it.
But with that particular quest too, though, is when you actually do it, you can see that Square's having fun with it. They're not being serious about selling you the product, but they're selling you the product, but they're having fun with campy voice lines about how much they love ramen noodles. Like, it's a fun side quest. It really is.
I think like that sort of product placement isn't a problem if it was any other game. Like, example, like one thing, I'll use Coke as example. So if you're playing Watch Dogs 2 and the guy's like, "Mount got Coke," it fits.
It fits the setting.
It fits the setting. So I think having Cup Noodles in this epic fantasy where you fight giant dragons on like a highway, like it's not the place.
And
to
it goes to as well just simply having that American Express logo on the shop front. It's like,
because that means America exists.
America doesn't exist in this world. I've got the world map. America's not there. Does the prince even fucking know what America is? What's the name? And then they had a cross promotion in Japan where if you got an actual Amex card, you get Final Fantasy shit printed on the front of it. But once you spend X amount, you get like, you got benefits for having.
Oh, so macro transactions.
If you got a
it's not macro. You spend a lot of money.
If you got a Final Fantasy Amex card, you got a free copy of the game with it.
Ooh.
There was a time that Sony did that. You would get a PS3 cheaper if you bought a Sony card, Sony bank card.
Yeah.
So it exists, but that's not a new thing.
And like, there's obviously in games plays on words. Like Fallout has Nuka-Cola, which is like Coca-Cola. There's play on words, and that's okay. But like, what do you think? Like, is it cool? Do you think we're gonna be seeing more? Because, like I said, you play games to kind of get out for a little bit, like mentally check out of here and go into there.
It depends on the game. So, as I'm aware, Final Fantasy takes place in a fictional world, and each one's a different world than the last. It's not all like one continuity.
There's only two titles in the series that have had direct sequels. So it's all, when I remember Final Fantasy VII, it's like this steampunk future wouldn't fit in. And exactly like you're saying, American Express doesn't make sense in a Japanese game that doesn't have America. Yeah.
But it depends in the context. Like, if it helps build the reality of the world, like if you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you've got like a Glock, or you're in like a BMW, or it's like a status kind of thing.
There was another I forget the game. There was another real world game like GTA that had like subway buildings in it, and that's okay.
The first time I noticed that in-game advertising was in Crazy Taxi, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, because I was like, it had Offspring songs in it, it had Pizza Hut, it had KFC, and I'm like, that's amazing, like, that's Pizza Hut.
It's real stuff.
No, you're just excited because it was fast food.
I know, I love Pizza Hut, I love KFC, and I love the Offspring. This is amazing.
Who eats KFC too?
I'm gonna get to Pizza Hut. So I thought that was cool, made it seem more realistic, even though it was like a cartoony kind of
the setting of the game.
And like, games like FIFA, it's just to set the way the world is. Like, they've got Adidas printed in places, and all the titles are changing, and all the billboards
even like,
are
changing.
changing.
I think the fields have like printed in the grass and stuff.
Yeah, when you play like Tony Hawk, they use real brands for skate and skateboard.
So in those situations, that's fine. I don't really know about the side questing. If it's done as a side quest, you don't have to play it in the main story, and it's just a fun thing, and it is kind of humorous. Yeah, that's cool.
And it is humorous, and it is fun, and it is a side quest, even though, your companion suddenly runs off like, oh my god, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? And it's like, that's noodles. Okay.
I'd like to go like all out on it, like when you see movies like The Matrix, for example, when you want the coats and people buy the glasses and you're gonna get knockoff ones. Like, literally, you're playing the game, and if you like the clothes that, what's the character, Nathan Drake's wearing, you like Nathan Drake's jeans, and you want the exact sunglasses. Yeah. Click on the options menu from your store.
Like, I remember with The Matrix, when they had those phones that like had the bottom out, like they were everywhere. Like, I think it was Nokia.
Yeah, and like they changed the glasses.
That's like Final Fantasy VII, the Advent Children, the movie sequel to the game. I think Cloud's phone is a Sony Ericsson. Yeah, that was current at the time. In Final Fantasy 15, the Kingsglaive movie that goes alongside the game. The main car being driven is an Audi R8, which is an actual car.
And if you watch any of the Marvel movies, you will notice they I think they drive
with product placement.
Yeah, I think it's Nissan or.
But it's not.
No, but like there are shots where like Iron Man pulls up and he's like dirt, and it's like literally the front of the car. It's like this is what car.
When it takes you out of the situation, like in the Age of Extinction Transformers, where out of nowhere. Mark Wahlberg crashes this alien ship on the freeway and hits a truck with like Budweiser beer or something.
Yeah.
And for no reason, he picks up a Budweiser and like opens on the guy's car and drinks it. And
Really?
then,
I haven't seen
and throws it down. Like,
Yeah,
and that's
okay.
like a prime example of
Product
ridiculous.
placement.
Like, why is he
Yeah.
holding it there? Why is that scene
Yeah.
happening?
And let me
Makes
guess,
no
when he was
sense.
holding it, the Budweiser logo was
Yeah,
facing...
and he just took a swig and then threw it down and the movie continues. So yeah,
It's like, what
All or
did
nothing.
Captain Boomerang drink in Suicide Squad when he cracked the can? Was that placement?
It was
I just
no,
remember
it
that
was,
scene.
it was no direct
It was
beer.
nothing, yeah.
you could
I think it was
say,
just the imagery of drinking beer.
So,
Straight.
I guess, I don't know, like, I just wanted to know what you got... Because I wasn't able to form an am I okay with this or not? Because, you know, there's situations where it is and it isn't. I just kind of wanted to know what you guys
But if
thought
it
about
results in a bigger game, a bigger, better game, because if they've got a bigger budget, would you prefer that?
The issue I have with this particular instance, with the noodles and the side quests and all that, is
Yeah.
the game's been out for a few months and they're releasing a patch to fix Chapter 13, which is known to just fuck the story completely.
Okay.
So the game didn't ship with the vision they wanted, and
Right.
resources have been put into doing this silly thing on the side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at?
That makes sense. Yeah.
And I'm sure whatever they spent developing that part of the game wouldn't have fixed that problem, but it's like, you still have problems at launch. So this fun extra shit shouldn't be in there.
Yeah, you should have focused.
I
on
disagree with that because no matter what they say, what they shipped, what they were happy with at the time. And
But they on record saying they weren't.
I'm sure they would say that when everyone's like, Chapter
Yeah,
13's
probably.
dumb.
Yeah.
It's like when BioWare released Mass Effect 3. They released it with the ending that they thought best fit that story, right? Then out of people are like, we didn't like the ending. They're like, alright, cool, we'll make a new one. There's the new ending. It's the one you like.
Which is a whole nother topic.
Yeah, a
to
whole
go on
other topic. But
completely.
the point I'm making is, like, I don't believe they're like, oh, we didn't want to make so like the resource idea is I don't think that's a fair argument. But in terms of the product placement, I think as long as it's not gratuitous, because advertising is how a lot of things make money. It's how we make money on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, it's a simple ad at the start. You know what I mean?
Speaking of which, who likes Donkey Kong? Because you can get this back in 1983.
You know what I mean? Like, so, like, advertising is a very important thing, and like, it's something that's always been in movies and been in TV, and it's kind of tough because if it's probably like the simplest of if movie and TV want to be treated legitimately, there are some things you have to do. Like, you want, like, people will be like, I'm not going to advertise in a game. Game doesn't make money. But if people are going, oh, I can advertise in games, like, that people are understanding the power and the impact of games. I think that's important.
It is, but then you think of games like, you know, The Last of Us and The Witcher, like, just picturing any of that in those games makes me just go, no, fuck off. If you know,
As I'm saying, 'cause I think it is something that has to fit a certain type of game, a certain type of thing. Because you can't just be like, hey, I really like this Budweiser. Thanks, Geralt.
Well,
It doesn't fit.
Yeah, there's like Joel with like a glass bottle of Pepsi. It's like,
Yeah.
And then a clicker around like,
Yeah,
like-
yeah, like that's
Yeah.
I think that's the line. I think Final Fantasy came close, but seeing as that side mission is clearly tongue in cheek, it's just kind of like taking the piss. It's like look, we really like these noodles, we thought it'd be funny.
And apparently that particular brand of noodles say that even though they're the most popular noodles already in Japan, the sales skyrocket.
Exactly, and I think
So it
with
works.
more things like that, a lot of bigger companies will want to invest money in that. And the short answer is, games are a business, and the more money, the more they can do.
But there's some issues in the advertising though as well, because in this day and age, there seems to be games released, and then they're like, we'll fix it later. Like, it's not ready to go, we'll do an update that'll amend this or fix that and put another level in or whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
So in the days when a game was done, it was done. It takes, years to develop sometimes? 18 months to develop a game?
Yeah.
So maybe the latest
Oh
phones
man, even the
out.
shittiest games can't be done in 18 months.
18 to
But
10,
the
10
point
years.
is, years.
But let's say
years.
the iPhone 5's out, they start making the game, we're going to advertise the shit out of iPhone 5. 2 years later, it's iPhone 7, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
The other problem is if you don't know what the game's going to be received as. So Sony could put in whatever amount of money for a Watch Dogs game, and they've got this awesome phone, and they're advertising Sony. Then it gets to the release of it, and Sony's like, we put all this money in, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to get it launched everywhere. And people are like, we absolutely hate that game. Nobody played it. We wasted all this money advertising this, and it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, but that happens to everything. Like any movie, like this big movie, like what they thought was going to be a blockbuster, they would have paid for product placement like crazy, right? That movie still sucked, regardless. So it's like once again, it's the exact same thing. It's the same problems that you would have being an advertiser in a movie, but now you're doing it in games.
But it doesn't matter
because it's risky in games.
Yeah,
it's more risky than
I don't think so.
Because whether the movie / game bombs or not, the money from the advertiser sponsorship has been is done.
Yeah, it's from a business. It's done, regardless.
It's done. They got Sony got their money for putting that in the game, and that's the end of it.
And the short answer is, we're in a weird place where games are more popular than ever, but the funding for them and sales of them are getting tougher. Like if we looked at 2016, almost every sequel made less than its previous version. So the whole idea is studios being the business they aren't willing to probably throw as much money into games as they normally would. So having something to subsidize it a little bit, be like, look, here's a little bit of money to add a little bit. Can you just make people use iPads? And they're like, all right, cool. I mean, I think it depends on the contract. Like, I'm sure if someone was like, everyone has to wear Converse shoes, and have to talk about how good Converse shoes are. Yeah, that'd be a bit different.
I guess what I'm saying, I guess my conclusion personally is, I can accept it in sports games, I can accept it in racing games, just keep it out of my fucking RPGs.
Yeah.
Keep it
My
out.
my answer is no, with an asterisk.
Yeah.
It's no within reason.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'll really stand the test of time when we talk about God of War, and presented by Nike next week.
Kratos comes into shot as the camera pans down. He's got the tick on his shoe.
Just do his scar.
They replace his tattoo. It's the big tick. Yeah.
Just do it.
Dad, watch you. Just do it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to kill that deer. Just do it.
Yeah.
These shoes, you uncover them out of a crate. These shoes will make you run faster.
When you get the shoes of Hermes or whatever in number 3.
The blades of chaos. The shoes of Nike.
I think the shoes of Hermes or whatever have the wings on them. Yeah. They're Nike tick wings instead.
I'm Ryan Messon.
I'm Josh Saunders.
I'm Dylan Bowden.
Brought to you by all the products
that we aren't sponsored by.